Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. It wasn't until I was in the late stages of cancer when my husband's mistress came to my door, eagerly hoping for my death, that I finally realized my husband of 30 years had been cheating on me for 29 of them. Vanessa, his mistress, leaned proudly against his shoulder. Even the adopted son I had doted on for over 20 years looked at me with disdain. I was forced to be separated from my birth mother, and had called you mom for all these years. You should have died a long time ago. Overwhelmed and devastated, I lost control and dragged my husband with me, hoping to die together. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn. Ryan immediately shoved my hand away and coldly declared, "The engagement is off. You're just a wannabe college student. You're not good enough for me." I didn't feel angry, I was just curious. Without me, the former top student having dropped out, how was he, who had always ranked second, going to get into college? Today was the day Ryan came over to discuss our engagement. Amid the teasing and encouragement from everyone around, he bashfully reached out and took my hand. "Monica Carter, I, Ryan Carter, promise to treat you well for the rest of my life." But halfway through his sentence, his bright and clear gaze suddenly turned confused. As he looked at me more closely, his eyes sharpened, and he yanked his hand away. Rather than awkwardly saying the engagement was cancelled, he spoke righteously. "This is the modern era. Arranged marriages are outdated. They're a backward tradition that should be abandoned." I was already feeling a little dazed, but Ryan's sudden force caused me to lose my balance and fall straight to the ground. He didn't even glance at me. Instead, he ran out into the courtyard, grabbed Vanessa's hand and declared, "Vanessa, you're the only one I love. I could never marry anyone else. Please marry me. I swear I'll treat you well." Vanessa's eyes turned red, and upon hearing his words, she burst into tears, overcome with emotion. The two of them hugged like a pair of ill-fated lovers finally reunited, completely ignoring the shocked onlookers around them. But the rest of the crowd was completely stunned. Ryan's widowed mother, Judy Carter, shot him a fierce glare and snapped, "Are you possessed or something? Monica is such a good daughter-in-law. Why would you throw her away for that?" Ryan sneered. "Mom, I know you wanted to marry Monica because you thought she'd get into college for sure, but I know she won't. I'll be the one who gets in. She's just a toxic, low-class woman who isn't worthy of me. I need to bravely chase after my true love. Only Vanessa is the one I truly love, and I won't make the same mistake again." The pain in my palm and the chaotic scene in front of me made it clear this wasn't some vision before death, nor was it a dream. I had really been reborn. Ryan and I had been tied to each other before we were even born. We grew up together, and our relationship had always been strong. Originally, the plan was to get married after our college entrance. Once exam results came out, Judy was afraid that if I got into college, I'd no longer want Ryan. He insisted on moving the wedding forward. When the results were released, Ryan had passed, I hadn't. But Ryan didn't distance himself from me. In fact, he treated me even better. Even though I couldn't have children, he never said a word of blame. When outsiders gossiped that he must be infertile, he didn't refute it, afraid I would feel lonely. He even adopted a child for me. I helped him care for his widowed mother, managed the household and raised our child. I spent 30 years being a dutiful wife, working myself into poor health, but I did it willingly. I endured the pain cancer brought me and refused to give up. Yet while I was still holding on, the others couldn't wait any longer. During one of my chemotherapy sessions, the still young and beautiful Vanessa came to me directly, shamelessly demanding that I let go. "Monica, it's about time you just die already. Ryan and I have kept this act up long enough. It's time for the show to end." Even Ethan, my adopted son, held her hand intimately and said, "Even my mom and dad deserve to be together in the open now." Only then did I realize that Ryan had started his affair with Vanessa as early as the second year of our marriage, and that the son I had lovingly raised for 20 years was actually their biological child. I was in unbearable pain. I grabbed Ryan and asked why he hadn't told me the truth earlier. I would have divorced him and stepped aside. Why ruin my whole life? But Ryan simply furrowed his brow and said, "I married you thinking you'd get into college, but you didn't." "I did." After getting into college, I originally wanted a divorce, but both my mother and I needed someone to take care of us. Later, when I had become successful in my career, and once again considered divorce, Vanessa gave birth to Ryan's son. So I decided to let you raise the child. I thought I'd wait until the child was older before bringing it up again. That wait lasted until now. I was furious to the point of collapse. With the last of my strength, I dragged Ryan down with me in a final act of despair. My parents, enraged beyond belief, helped me up and turned furiously to Ryan. Ryan Carter, what nonsense are you spewing? Today is the day you came to propose marriage. What kind of stunt are you pulling? If you didn't want to marry our Monica, then why did you bring all these engagement gifts? Ryan rolled his eyes at my parents and sneered. These gifts were just for show. I'm taking them straight to Vanessa's house next. She's the only one worthy of me. The neighbors who had gathered to watch never expected the engagement meeting to turn into this kind of spectacle. One by one, they craned their necks and began to gossip seriously. If he didn't want to marry her, he should have said so earlier. Why wait until today to cause a scene? I've suspected it for a while. I've seen Ryan whispering with Vanessa more than once, holding her hand and all. Well, it's Monica's fault for throwing. A woman who tries too hard never gets treasured. Despite the heated discussion among the onlookers, Ryan remained unfazed. He calmly ordered people to move the gifts. Everyone help me carry these over to the Hill family. I'm delivering them to Vanessa. He even dragged along his hesitant mother, Judy. Mom, trust me, I'm the one who actually got into college, not Monica. My parents were fuming, but they knew how much I used to care for Ryan. Swallowing their anger, they held on to him, trying to convince him to proceed with the engagement. I sighed and shook my head. Mom, Dad, let it go. Even if he still wanted to marry me, I no longer want to marry him. Ryan clearly hadn't expected that. He let out a mocking laugh. At least you finally know your place. You're not good enough for someone like me, a real college student. With that, he walked out of my house. I looked at the backs of Ryan, Vanessa, and Judy as they left. I just smiled. A college student? I doubt that. After Ryan left my house, he took the engagement gift straight to Vanessa. With that slick lawyer tongue of his, he managed to secure their marriage on the spot. I had no reaction. I simply stayed at home writing down everything I could remember, just in case I needed it later. But since I never went out, Ryan assumed I was at home crying. Taking advantage of my parents being out, he brought Vanessa over to see me. When he saw that my eyes weren't swollen from crying, he looked genuinely surprised. He turned to Vanessa and said, Vanessa, you're just too kind. Why bother coming to see her? She knows deep down that she's not good enough for me. Vanessa gave me a smug look and said in a mocking tone, Monica, I'm actually here to apologize and to thank you. Ryan told me everything. He's been reborn. I was a little stunned. Ryan really was something else. After being a lawyer for so many years, he could even convince Vanessa of something as outrageous as being reborn. I stayed silent, just staring directly at Ryan. Seeing this, Vanessa quickly stepped in front of him, blocking my view. Monica, I'm really grateful to you. In the last life, you were like a maid raising our child, but you and Ryan were never meant to be. Even if you begged him, it wouldn't change anything. He and I are soulmates. I let out a cold snort and replied, Don't mention it, as I moved to close the door. But Ryan stuck his foot in the doorway and sneered. Someone like you? No looks, no charm, failed the college entrance exam, just a low-class farmer. You'll never find a husband. But you are good at taking care of people, so for the sake of us growing up together, I'll allow you to come work at my house as a maid. You can take care of my mom and Vanessa. I was beyond fed up. I grabbed a broom and tried to chase the two of them out. Ryan quickly pulled out a wedding invitation. All right, no need to argue. This is our wedding invitation. Since you've taken care of me for most of my life, of course, I have to invite you to attend. Then he added, Of course. If you're still in love with me and can't bring yourself to come, I didn't blame him. I was utterly disgusted. Still, I reached out and took the invitation. The moment I saw the date, I frowned. A month from now? That's unusually late. I couldn't help but feel puzzled. Back in my previous life, Ryan and I got married just a few days after our engagement was confirmed. Why was he dragging it out this time? Ryan chuckled smugly. What do you know? That day is exactly when I'll receive my college admission letter. You know the old saying, there are 3 great joys in life: passing the imperial exams, your wedding night, and the birth of a son. I want to marry Vanessa on the happiest, most triumphant day of my life and spend the rest of it in bliss with her. The two of them were clinging to each other in front of me like a sickening love show. But after hearing what he said, I dug my nails deep into my palm, trying not to burst out laughing. In my last life, after Ryan and I got married, he was constantly worried that he wouldn't get into college. Even though he treated me well, he was always filled with anxiety and self-doubt. Babe, what if I don't pass the entrance exam? Will you still love me? Babe, since you got into college, can't you help me out? I want a chance to go with you. Back then, I thought he said those things because he truly loved me. So when I found out I had ranked first and he came in second, I didn't tell anyone. I dropped out on my own, letting Ryan take my place and go to college instead. But my sacrifice was repaid with betrayal. This time I didn't need to do a thing. He would regret everything on his own. A month passed in the blink of an eye. The day of Ryan and Vanessa's wedding arrived. I didn't stay at home crying like everyone expected. Instead, I put on the new clothes my parents had made for me and walked happily into the wedding venue. The whole event sent shockwaves through the entire town, not just because Ryan had publicly dumped me, his childhood sweetheart, during our engagement and proposed to Vanessa instead, making a complete spectacle out of it. People also came to see what kind of woman this homewrecker really was. But what drew even more attention was how grand the wedding was. I found it laughable. When Ryan and I got married, Judy Carter made excuses about saving money for his college tuition and gave me a pitifully shabby wedding. She didn't even make me a single new outfit. But this time, knowing for certain that he'd get into college, Ryan emptied out his entire savings and threw a lavish banquet. Even though my family was well off in the resource-starved 1980s, wedding feasts weren't common, so I figured, why waste a free meal? I showed up without hesitation. The moment I arrived, the entire crowd was stunned. People couldn't stop whispering in panic. Oh my God, Monica's here. This wedding's doomed for sure. She's obviously here to cause trouble. I would too. Monica's been so good to Ryan's family for years. Yeah, who wouldn't be furious? She deserves. Their gossip grew louder and louder, but I pretended not to hear a thing. I picked a random seat and sat down. It didn't take long for Ryan and Vanessa to notice me. The two of them clearly didn't expect me to actually show up. After exchanging a glance, they grabbed 2 glasses of wine and walked over. Ryan let out a snide chuckle. Wow, you really had the nerve to come. Don't tell me it's because I said you married me in a past life, and now you think dressing up prettier might win me back. Vanessa looked visibly annoyed. She rolled her eyes and snapped. Monica, have some shame. Today is my wedding day with Ryan. Why are you wearing such a bright red outfit? What are you trying to pull? I smiled calmly. You two gave me the invitation yourselves. Now you don't want me to be here? Are you scared of something? Scared I'll steal your man? I gave Vanessa a mockingly dreamy look and laughed. Don't flatter yourself. I wouldn't want trash like him even if you were handed to me. I came here for my college admission letter. The moment I said those words, both of them burst into laughter. Ryan laughed so hard he had to hold his stomach. Acting like it wasn't worth even discussing, he grabbed the microphone from the MC on stage and spoke to the crowd. Everyone look. My ex-girlfriend just can't let go. Now she's saying she wants to steal my admission letter. She's clearly gone crazy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going to be the only college student this town will ever see. That's a done deal. No one can take that from me. Everyone there had heard him bragging about that for a whole month. Seeing how confident he was, everyone went from being doubtful at first to completely convinced. One after another, they joined in mocking me, saying I was delusional and that I'd gone insane after being dumped by Ryan. Just then, the village chief came running into the wedding with the mailman right behind him. He was so excited he could barely speak. We got it. We got it. The county's only college admit is from our village. Ryan was thrilled. He quickly straightened his clothes and rushed forward to meet the chief, hands outstretched to receive the admission letter. But the village chief didn't even look at him. Instead, he handed the envelope directly to me. "Congratulations, Monica." I took the letter and muttered a dry thanks, but the moment it touched my hands, my nose burned, my throat tightened, and my eyes filled with tears. I wanted nothing more than to break down and cry, but I held it in, my chest full of emotion. Ryan froze in place. He stared at the village chief and the mailman for a long while, realizing neither of them was holding anything else. He couldn't help himself. "Wait, Chief, did you make a mistake? Why would you give the letter to Monica?" The chief frowned. "A mistake? I may have never been to college, but I can still read the names. Ryan Carter and Monica Carter. The letter clearly says Monica's name. Who else would I give it to if not her?" Ryan scrambled to explain. No, that's not what I meant. I was just asking, where's my letter?" The chief looked at him like he'd lost his mind. "Your letter? What letter? The college only accepted the top student. You were second place. You weren't admitted. So how could you possibly have a letter?" He shook his head and sighed. "While Monica was studying hard, all you did was run around playing with Vanessa, and now you're here looking for a college acceptance letter. I'm telling you it's too late." The words hit like a thunderclap. Not just Ryan, but everyone there fell into stunned silence. Judy Carter's smile froze on her face. She tugged on Ryan's sleeve and whispered, "Ryan, what's going on?" Ryan completely broke down. The smug pride from just moments ago vanished instantly. He ignored his mother, shaking his head like a madman. No, this isn't right. I'm the top student. That letter should have been mine. This has to be a mistake." He lunged toward me, grabbing my arm violently. "Give me that letter. It's mine." The village chief and the mailman immediately pulled me behind them to protect me. The chief didn't hold back. He slapped Ryan across the face. "Are you out of your mind? I've said it clearly. You didn't get in. Going after Monica won't change that." Finally, the crowd started to piece it all together. For the past month, Ryan had been strutting around claiming he was the only college admit in town, celebrating nonstop, when all along he hadn't even passed. It had all been in his head. Vanessa's eyes went wide with shock. "Ryan, you said you were the one who got in. Why is it Monica? Were you lying to me this whole time? I gave up my original engagement for you. You promised me. You said you'd be the college student. I'm already yours. Now how could you do this to me?" My brows lifted. I hadn't expected things between Ryan and Vanessa to progress so quickly. They hadn't even held the wedding yet, and they were already acting like husband and wife. But thinking back, it made sense. In my last life, Vanessa had only been married a short while before her husband died. If they were willing to cheat back then, of course, they'd go even further now. Vanessa's parents and older brother were furious. "Ryan, my sister was already engaged. We only accepted this marriage because you told us you were a college admit." "Exactly, and we didn't even ask for a dowry from you. Her previous fiancé was a rich man. You better give us an explanation or I'll report you for fraud." Vanessa burst into tears. Ryan looked lost, but he still grabbed her hand and tried to explain. "Babe, something's wrong, okay? But it's fine. If I didn't pass this time, there's always next year. Don't worry, I will get in. History can't change it." Vanessa didn't know what to say. As for me, I couldn't help but laugh. Since the college entrance exam was reinstated, it had only gotten stricter and harder with each passing year. If the Ryan from my past life, I honestly believed he might have had a chance back then. But now 30 years had passed since the college entrance exam from my last life. How could he possibly still get in? It wasn't just me who found it laughable. The other wedding guests clearly thought it was hilarious too. One by one, they burst into laughter, bending over and holding their stomachs, unable to stop talking. Oh please, he couldn't pass this time. What makes him think next time will be any better? Wasn't he just boasting about how he was definitely going to be a college student? He must be eating his words now. I swear, I'm starting to wonder if Ryan just made all that up to get a wife. His grades were never better than Monica's. Where did he get the confidence that he'd be the one accepted? He probably faked it all along. What a show this is. Rich Ryan dumped gold and ended up with pebbles. Everyone was ridiculing him. Vanessa's entire family, on the other hand, was furious and refused to let it go. They demanded that Ryan pay the dowry they had waived, threatening to report him for marriage fraud if he didn't. Ryan looked like he was about to explode. He had no idea how things had gone so wrong. All he could do was stare me down. "Monica Carter," he growled. "You better tell me what's going on. Why did my acceptance letter end up with you? What trick did you pull? Give it back to me or I'll report you for stealing my college spot. I'll ruin you. I'll make sure you die in disgrace." Die in disgrace? I already did that in my last life. I smiled sweetly at him. "Go ahead, don't just talk, do it. I'll be waiting for the day you show up with the cops to arrest me." With that, I thanked the village chief and, under the envious stares of everyone around me, walked away holding my college acceptance letter. Even after I'd gone a long distance, I could still hear people laughing and Vanessa's family yelling in frustration behind me. When I arrived near home with the letter in hand, I saw my parents already standing by the gate, waiting anxiously. They had only heard that the letter had come but didn't know who it was for. When they saw my red, teary eyes and the way I looked like I'd been holding back sobs, they rushed over to comfort me. "It's okay, honey. We'll just take the test again. We're still young. We'll help support you," my dad said gently. "If Ryan could get in, then you definitely can too." In my previous life, I had married Ryan and given up my own shot at college, so he could chase his dream. My parents never knew the truth. They just kept trying to encourage me. "It's okay, Monica. We believe in you. We'll work and earn enough money for you to try again. You'll get in next time, we know you will." Back then, I had truly wanted to keep studying because of their support, but Judy, Ryan's mother, was quick to intervene. "Monica, Ryan just got accepted to college. This is when he needs someone to take care of him the most. If you go off and study again, who's going to handle everything at home? And who says you'll even pass next time? What if you don't? That'd be a waste of time and money. What you need to do now is get pregnant as soon as possible. Give Ryan a child and some scheme to sabotage my chances and steal my spot." But now I get it. It wasn't anything like that. The truth is, you were the one who got in all along. You must have seen the results early in the last life. You gave up your spot so I could go to college instead, didn't you? I replied coldly. "Yeah, so what? I don't want to talk about the past." When he heard me admit it, Ryan suddenly burst into tears. "I'm sorry, Monica. I'm so sorry. I was blind. I couldn't see that you were the one who truly loved me. I was so terribly wrong." He took a deep breath. "I have to confess something. In the last life, you could have children. It wasn't that you were infertile. I just didn't think you were good enough for me. I saw you as a maid, a caretaker, not someone I wanted to have my own bloodline with. Especially after Vanessa got pregnant so soon. I decided I didn't want to have a child with you. So I put sterilization drugs in your food to make sure you couldn't get pregnant. That way, you'd raise the child Vanessa and I had as if it were your own." I stood frozen, my heart clenched, shocked. Despite myself, Ryan's voice trembled. "Even the cancer you got later was caused by the effects of those drugs. It's all my fault." I furrowed my brow. I didn't respond immediately, still shaken by what he'd said. But after the shock passed, I actually felt a strange sense of relief. If I'd had a child in my past life, I might still be longing for them now. But since I never had one, maybe this rebirth was a clean slate, a kind of freedom. I rolled my eyes. "I told you I don't want to talk about the past, and you shouldn't either. Yes, you wronged me in the last life, but I killed you, so I guess we're even now. Let's just move on. As long as you don't come bothering me again, we'll be fine." Ryan's eyes lit up. "So you're saying you forgive me?" Before I could even respond, he let out a breath of relief, like he just dodged death. "I knew it, Monica. You love me so much, you were bound to forgive me." What nonsense! When did I ever say I forgave him? I still hated him, but I'd been given a second chance at life. I couldn't let my past destroy this one. Revenge was never my goal. I just wanted to live a peaceful life for myself. Seeing that I didn't say anything, Ryan looked even more pleased with himself. "I used to think being reborn was a chance for me to pursue my true love again," he said, voice soft and dramatic. But now I understand it's actually heaven giving me a chance to make things right, a chance to make it up to you. So this time, I won't love anyone else. I want to have children with you. I want to grow old with you. Let's start over. It turns out when you're so speechless you can't even respond. The only thing left to do is laugh. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Ryan, are you out of your mind? Did you forget you're already married? The moment I said that, his expression changed. Vanessa's not the kind of woman I thought she was, he muttered. She's been blaming me nonstop this whole month, like everything's my fault. If it aren't for me, she'd never have ended up the way she is. But you never pointed fingers. You were always so gentle, so kind. I was blind, Monica. I fell for the wrong person. I don't love her anymore. I only feel resentment. I gave her so much and she never appreciated it. I finally figured it out. I want a divorce because the person I should have married was you. You know what they say. It's never too late for a prodigal son to return. You can trust me now. His words made my skin crawl. But knowing Ryan as well as I did, I could tell he really was regretting everything this time. While he spoke, Ryan dropped to one knee and looked up at me. Monica Carter, I want to marry you. I, Ryan Carter, promise to love you for the rest of my life. I was amused. You want to marry me? He nodded proudly. I do. All right then, I said with a crooked smile. But marrying me isn't going to come without conditions. I want things to be exactly the same as last time. What do you mean? He asked, confused. I want you to drop out, I said calmly. Give your spot in college to me. Ryan's smile stiffened. Don't worry, he said quickly. I won't cheat on you again. You're the only one in my heart now. And besides. He hesitated, then bit the bullet. I'm even willing to let you take the college entrance exam next year. I know my mom won't like it, but I'll convince her for your sake. We can go to college together, be the perfect couple. That was it. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I took a deep breath, grounded myself, and shouted. Ryan Carter, are you mentally ill? Is your family so poor you can't even afford a mirror? Or find no mirror? Do you at least have a bucket of water? Take a look at yourself. I admit it, I was blind in my last life. I wasted everything falling for trash like you and ruined my own future. But now that I have a second chance, why on earth would I give up my college opportunity for you? In the 30 years I'd lived with Ryan, it was the first time I'd ever lost my temper in front of him. He stared at me in stunned silence before finally murmuring, I'm not asking you to give it up forever. Just let me go first. Didn't I say I'll let you take the exam next year? I was about to roll my eyes right out of my head. Oh, how generous of you. I didn't realize my entire life needed your permission. I don't need your approval to go to college, and I sure as hell don't need to take the exam again. If you want to go to college, take the test yourself. Ryan hung his head but didn't stand up. I can't pass. When I first came back, I still remembered a lot of things, but over the past month, everything from my past life has been fading, especially the academic stuff. I barely remember anything now. The only thing I still remember clearly is how good you were to me. He looked up with misty eyes. That's why I regret it even more. How could I have treated you so horribly? I didn't respond to that. Instead, I looked him in the eye and asked, You say you can't pass, but did it ever occur to you that I might not pass either? He blinked, clearly. Confused by the question, I said, So what if you don't pass? I already promised to marry you and treat you well with my love. You'll be fine. You know perfectly well, I said coldly, that if I don't go to college, my entire life will be ruined. I've already lived the good life. I said to myself, why would I ever go back to suffering? Ryan didn't seem to notice my disgust. College isn't as amazing as you think, he added, still trying to reason with me. Even if you do go, there's no guarantee you'll be happy. But if you marry me, I can guarantee your happiness. I'm doing this for your own good. I snorted, barely stopping myself from grabbing a bucket of cold water to dump over his head just to wake him up. Maybe then he'd realize how absurd he sounded. But I held back. Instead, I raised my voice. Ryan Carter, let me make this crystal clear. I will never give up my college admission for you. Your so-called love means absolutely nothing to me. You can stand there and shamelessly say, "So what if I didn't get in?" But whether you pass or fail, your future has nothing to do with me. This is all your own doing. Now get out of my house and don't ever come back. Ryan finally realized I wasn't playing hard to get. I actually didn't intend to marry him or give up college for him. He slowly stood up, his eyes dark and cold as he stared at me. "Monica Carter, you ungrateful. How dare you? I'm your husband. You're supposed to give up your college spot for me." I backed up a step. His eyes were full of something dangerous. "What are you trying to do, kill me? I'm telling you right now, even if you kill me, you still won't go to college." He scoffed. "Kill you? Why would I do that? I'm just trying to restore the natural order." He stepped toward me, the grin on his face growing more twisted with every inch. "You're my wife in our last life. You begged me to sleep with you. But this time you won't have to beg. I'll do it willingly. And once you've become mine again, I'll tell everyone you seduced me. If you don't want your parents getting humiliated, you'll marry me and you'll hand over your college spot." He didn't wait for a reply. He reached for me, his hands rough and disgusting. I didn't resist. Instead, I leaned close to his ear and whispered, "Ryan Carter, do you know how many years you can get for sexual assault these days?" He froze. Before he could react, the front door burst open. My parents rushed in with the village chief and a crowd of neighbors behind them. They tackled Ryan to the ground and held him down. "You planned this," he shouted, struggling like a madman. "You set me up." I didn't deny it. It wasn't exactly a setup, but it wasn't a coincidence either. I had actually arrived home a while ago and noticed Ryan hiding nearby. I figured he was up to no good, so I went and told my parents before returning. I wanted everyone to see for themselves that Ryan Carter was truly disturbed. Since Ryan had been caught red-handed, the village chief called for the men to escort him to the police station. Ryan screamed like a lunatic. "I didn't do anything wrong. Let me go. Monica is my wife. I was reborn, you idiots. Let me go. I need to go to college, not prison." But no one believed his rebirth nonsense anymore. After all, the one thing he kept claiming, his college admission, hadn't come true. Everyone now just saw him as mentally unstable. Judy Carter tried to block the crowd. She cried and begged, but no one listened. Then she dropped to her knees in front of me, banging her head on the floor. "Monica, please just say you seduced Ryan. Say something. He can't go to prison." I ignored her and helped the others drag Ryan straight to the police station. Once he was finally locked up, people began to realize the truth. Ryan had truly lost his mind. He had strangled Vanessa to death after she demanded a divorce and mocked him. He snapped and killed her. But the most terrifying part was that he didn't think he'd done anything wrong. In fact, after murdering her, he came straight to my house to propose. Only then did everything make sense. The strange way he spoke, his blind confidence that he could get a divorce. Vanessa was already dead. In the end, Ryan Carter was sentenced to death for murder. When Judy Carter heard that her son had been given the death penalty, she completely lost her mind. She ran out of the village and disappeared without a trace. But none of that had much to do with me anymore. The new school year had arrived. With my college acceptance letter in hand, I stepped into the campus I had never had the chance to enter in my previous life, starting a brand new, perfect chapter of my life.